Hi everybody. Today we're going to be talking about and demoing and messing around with some new features that I'm really excited about for the Create Block package. So if you've been to any one of my streams prior to this, you would probably know that I talk like almost exclusively about the Create Block package. So the version 4.0 just got released on the 24th of August. And these two features are something that I've been, I don't know if you can read that. Let me zoom that in. So these two features are something that I have been so excited about. And I've been working on them for a little while with my good friend Greg, who's awesome. This guy right here, that guy is awesome. And it does two things. It kind of makes these two features are separate, but they do things that make our lives a lot easier as block developers and gives us a lot more flexibility and do all sorts of fun things. So let me get into it a little bit. Okay, cool. So if you've never used the Create Block package, let me clear this out. If you are familiar at all with the Create Block package, I'm going to just CD into my plugins directory. So we're back in my repository, which is right here. And this is basically, I'm going to be working inside plugins here. So with Create Block here, I'll just move that out of the way so you can see all this stuff here, and I'm going to move back. So I'm going to use the Create Block package. So as we know, the Create Block package works like this: npx, if I can type it, at WordPress Create Block, right? And then we can do some we can either provide a bunch of options for it, or we can go through the interactive mode. So what we can do, so let's look at, sorry, I'm rambling. I'm going to look at the no plugin version. So this no plugin flag. So if we were to run this, let's go no plugin demo. So this is going to be the name of our plugin. So what this is going to do is it's going to ask us if we want to create a block. It's going to go behind the scenes. It's going to fill in all the stuff that we need. It's going to build us a block in the directory that we're in, which is plugins. I just pointed at my screen because everyone can see that. Right? I just pointed at my screen. We're in the plugins directory. So it's going to take a minute. It's going to scaffold all that junk out, and then we'll take a look at it. So let's see what got spit out there. So what did I call this thing? Oh, the no plugin demo. So it's right here, right? Oh, I like lurkers. That's good. That's good times. Okay, so this gave us a plugin, and this gave us a very standard plugin. Just ignore those PHP CS issues that this thing's having. This builds us out a plugin that contains a single block. The plugin is called no plugin demo. All that stuff. Well, that's great, and this is all standard. This is not new, right? What is new is, what if we wanted to say, I don't know, build another block inside of this plugin? We couldn't do it before. So what we would have to do is come in here. We'd have to go like this. We'd have to copy all this crap, right? So I'm gonna do this one called block one, because this is gonna be the first block, right? I'm just gonna move all that stuff in here. But then if you wanted to make a second one, you had to like copy this folder and then rename all the things, and inevitably, if you're like me, spell something wrong or miss something or do it whatever, right? But what if I told you that you could just go like this, no plugin demo. You run the same npx command, which I'm gonna make that a little bit bigger, right? And you say this is gonna be block 2, right? And then we're gonna pass the no plugin plugin flag. Watch what this does. Oh, one more thing. Before that, we need to also CD into the directory where we want the block to live. So because I've got a source directory, I'm going to go in there. So this time I'm going to call npx create block. I'm going to call this block 2. And we're going to say no plugin. I just want a block. All right, so that's going to go and do its thing. And I'm going to say yes. Okay, check out what just happened. Check this out. Now look at that. I got block 2 sitting beside block 1 inside my source directory, right? And if I look in here, we've got all the stuff is all block 2. It's all named, whatever it needs to be named, all that fun stuff, right? And the only thing that we still have to do is we have to come in here and manage the register block stuff. So in this case now we'll have block 1, and then I can just duplicate this and say block 2. Block 2, right? So that's a huge thing. That's a huge thing, and it'll get even more cooler. But yes, there is a way to, so if you go npx, I think if you just do, I think it was help. No, I think you can go dash help, and it'll show you all the stuff that you need to see. Yeah, so that's all the commands in there, Kevin. It's also available in here. So there is this documentation, which I'll drop in here as well. We'll paste that. So this contains the stuff, and then this is actually something else that I'm kind of happy about. That's acting a little weird, but we split out some of the create block documentation, and you'll start seeing this for some of the more complicated documentation. I'm starting to feel like this naming is just horrible. I might just get rid of that name, the prefix of WordPress create block, because this is all the information about using the package and all of that. But then if you want to get into creating a custom external template, which is where the power of create block really shines, the ability to like choose how you want your blocks to be configured, what kind of blocks, all that kind of stuff. Then this is where it gets really, really powerful. And we've talked about this in some past ones. I have a dynamic block packet, or a dynamic block. Where are my packages? I have a couple of here. I have a dynamic block template right here that generates a bunch of junk, right? It's not really much different than what you've seen. And what the heck is this one? This is a So anyways, yeah. So that's probably one of the most powerful things. Now the next one that I want to show is super cool too. So let's say that we want to build another block inside of this, right? We're gonna do another block. We'll call it block 3. But we want this block to be slightly different. Now, this is the introduction of another flag in here called variant. So the idea of variant is that a template. So I should explain templates, I guess, first. So these templates, the create block package has templates built into it. You can also point it to an external template, like I was just showing here, right? So you can point it to one of these templates and use those. They can be published on npm, but you can also have these templates locally. You can refer to local. Oh god, it's something in my eye. Sorry. You can refer to local directories as your template as well. So if your template supports variants, you can define different types of blocks within your template. So for example, the most obvious, probably simplest one is a dynamic version and a static version, which is so cool. But you can also extend it to say you always do dynamic blocks because you're an agency and that's just making your life way easier, but you may or may not be doing it in TypeScript. So you may want to have like a TypeScript variant of your block, right? Or maybe you want to have one with Tailwind CSS. Maybe you want to have one that's got tests or that doesn't have tests or whatever. So all these variants you can define on a per template basis, and it gets and really you can do it whatever you want with it. And that's what's really cool about this. So the two variants that the create block package supports out of the sort of box are static and dynamic, and we can look at that in the code here. If we look in here, we can look at the lib, the templates. Now the way the templates work are a little bit different than what you would kind of see in the wild, but because they're not actually defined there, they're defined in here. But if we look at the way that we define our templates, we've got default values, and then we've got these variants, and then variants are basically allowing you to kind of do whatever you want to do in there. And I'll get into the details in it in a little bit. Well, I think we'll probably build a template so we can sort of show how that works. But anyways, so the two variants that we can support right now, where am I, are static and dynamic. And the static is the default. So whatever. So if you don't pass anything to this, it just takes the first one, and that's what we've been getting. And we know that because we look at this, we have a save right in here, which is a good indication that this is a static block, because dynamic blocks don't use a save function. They just return null, and then there'll be a template and stuff. So let's just see. So let's see what happens. So we come in here, we're gonna go block 3. We want to make sure that it's no plugin, right? And then, oops, sorry. And then we're gonna pass the variant. So we say variant equals dynamic, right? And then we can go like that. And that's going to, unless my cache is all screwed up. There we go. We got a block 3. Oh, there's a typo in there that needs to be fixed. I think that's actually been addressed. Block 3. So if we look now in block 3, let's look. So block 3, check this out. Look at that. It's got template.php in there now, right? And it doesn't have a save. It has an index, right? So we're not showing the save here. Just ignore these squigglies. It just has to do with my linting on this is a little bit messed up. But anyways, and yeah, so now we've got 3 blocks, and there are different variants. So that right there is a huge win for block development. And why is it a huge win for block development? Because now we can scaffold blocks inside of themes, which you are technically allowed to do. But it's, if you're doing that and you want to do that, which is totally fine, we can look in here. So I've got this theme called Twitch themes. In source, I've got some blocks in here, right? So what if I just so CD, I'm going to CD back. I'm just going to get into the directory where am I now? Themes, no, themes, no. Where am I? Themes, Twitch theme, right? Cool, clear. So now if I go into source, right, I can do npx grid block, right? We want a dynamic block. We don't want it to be a plugin because we're just adding a block to our theme, and we can call this whatever, some new block, right? We'll run that. It's going to give us a dynamic block in here. Now we've got some new block. We're all ready to go. The only thing we have to do is I think I have it in here. We just need to register the block name here. So we would just kind of do something like this, and whatever I called it, some new block. So that's pretty freaking awesome. Does the dynamic block template include a view script entry point? No, it does not. We can take a look. It does not, but you can add one. So this is the dynamic one. So you can see we don't have view script, but so the thing is, and the probably the most important thing to understand about Create Block is it is just a scaffolding tool. So if you want your blocks to support Tailwind, you just create your own template that supports Tailwind and feed it to Create Block, and it'll do it, right? So it does not. This one does not support the view script entry point. I mean, maybe it's a good idea that it should. I don't know. This is the idea behind these built-in templates is to kind of give you like the most minimal solution, because this is also a learning tool. So there's arguments on both sides. But to answer your question, Beanie, no, it does not. Sorry, this is the question that Beanie is asking me, is asking everyone. But it's not a horrible idea, but it doesn't mean that you can't add it, right? And maybe we should just do that. Maybe we should just build a template right now that has that. What do you think? What do you think of that? Cool. Yeah. I was asking because the view script has to be manually queued, which tripped me up. Yes, it does. It absolutely does. It's a bit of a pain, but it is a thing. So here's an idea. So you could get really creative with all this stuff. Like we could build multiple templates. And so let me just kind of dive into template management. Actually, so those are really the two big features that I kind of wanted to go over. And you can see how they'd be super powerful, right? Like for example, what if you wanted to, like, you could include a template with a theme or a theme scaffold now, or a plugin scaffold, whatever you want to do. So if you would build your blocks out in any way, you can just run this command with a scaffold that's built in or on NPM or wherever, or even in a different directory as what you're working on, and you can do that. Cool. So okay, maybe we should let's build. I have an idea. Let's build a template that supports the static block, a dynamic block, and then a dynamic block with a view script. And we'll put that through its paces. Why don't we do that? So I'm gonna build this. You can build this anywhere you want. The template supports. What am I saying? Oh my god. Sorry. Create block supports local templates, so just a directory on your file system, or an npm package somewhere. So I'm going to build this out. I'm just going to put this inside my Twitch theme, because this is something. I come from the agency world. I used to work at 10up. We used to do a ton of really complicated blocks, and we had a very complicated and detailed scaffold for themes, which included some plugin stuff. Sorry, some block stuff. So I'm going to just add it inside of here, and it's easier to do this right now. And then maybe I'll put it on npm or something. So I'm just going to create a new folder in here and called it block template, right? All right, so let's look at creating a block template. So to create a block template, we need to have a couple of things here. Okay, so first of all, it's got a mustache. It uses Mustache. The templating engine is of Mustache to do this. And the thing that we have to define, the two things that you should always define for sure. Well, first of all, we need an index.js. So let's do index.js in there, right? And index.js. And then we want to import join because we're gonna need it, right? So put that in there. And also the worst code examples. Again, just ignore my PHP or my stuff like that. So, and then we want a module.exports, right? So we want to define plugin templates path. So these are the files that are going to make up the what gets run if you run it in just standard mode, right? If you don't run it in plugin mode. Sorry, if you run it in plugin mode. So these would be the plugin files, right? So let's put a directory in there and we'll call it plugin templates. Now it's best practice to have this, even if your intention is not necessarily to use it, because if you have it, you then can use it as a plugin somewhere else as well, because that's where the create block, that's the history of create block, was it was creating plugins that contain blocks. So we'll have that. So the next thing that we want is the block templates path. So this is pretty important because we're going to store all our files for the block portion of our templates in there. So I'll create a new directory and call it block templates, right? Cool. And so so assets path, if we have assets that we need, like fonts or images or whatever, we can do that. We're not going to have that right now, so I'm not going to add that in. We can add some default values, which maybe we'll just add some default values in here just for shits and giggles. We're just going to add let's go like theme. What would we call this? Block scaffold, right? We're gonna call that whatever. Yeah, sure, block scaffolding. And then I'm not gonna put a slug in there, and I'm not gonna do any of this. So I'm just gonna put a default title. And you know what I am going to do is I'm going to change the icon, or the dash icon. I'm going to make this Twitter. Why not, right? Oh, this is going to drive me absolutely crazy, these things. I got to fix this. Anyways, okay. So we got some default values, right? And now, and I think we need to actually update this because I have not updated this. The documentation, because we need to put some more things in, right? So these are the defaults, but if we look at back over here in our create block, in our lib, in our templates, you can see that we have some other things. So just ignore this, but this is all basically it. So we've got templates path, right? We've got default values, and then we've got variants. So what makes variants even more powerful is the idea that when we define variants, we define them as an object with objects that contain objects. So basically the plan here is if you define a variant and it has an empty object and it just uses whatever default value, default values are sort of are provided. But if you provide values inside the object of based on the variant, it will override these. So if you do a dynamic block, it'll say example dynamic here, and the slug will say example dynamic instead of that. So this is where we can override some stuff, and this becomes really important because, for example, when you're working on certain combinations of things, like for example, let me show you why this became important. We have a create block tutorial template that we've been using, right? So when it's defined, you can see that we have our default values are here, and this is an actual template. So you can take a look at this. Here, I'll drop the URL in here. All right. So this is one, and there's documentation that kind of goes around with that. So you can see we've got all these default values, right? So we've got, and the attributes are defined as default values. Now this is great. However, when you have a dynamic block, you don't need these two things, and in fact, it won't work because this is telling Gutenberg that it expects the source of this attribute to be in the text and the selector. It's the text of the div. Well, that doesn't exist in a dynamic block because dynamic blocks render their markup using PHP. So this won't work. So what we have to do is override the attributes down here. So we have attributes message string type, and that will work. So that's where this sort of override by variant becomes really important, and we'll want to do that for some other things, right? So anyways, this is a dynamic block, right? So we want to define some variants. So we're going to say variants, right? And then it's an object. We're going to give it a static variant. What variants are, like, as in what variants are allowed, or what variants are provided by the create block package? Allowed. Anything's allowed. You can literally write, I could do a Kevin variant, right? And it doesn't matter. Because what variants do behind the scenes is create a bunch of mustache template items. So let me show you what I mean. So we've got static variant, we've got dynamic variant. Now in our template files, and we'll get to this in a second, but if you look at, say, the block template files, right? So there's template.php.mustache. Yes, and the author of the template defines that. If that's what you're meaning, then yes, but the user of create block doesn't define anything. They can only use what's there. But the person creating this template can define it. So if we look at that, we see these little mustache sort of like, this is like an if statement basically in mustache. And if this is defined as true, then it will render this. So we have is and variant. So whatever the name of your variant is goes in there, right? So this would be is dynamic variant. And if we did a Kevin variant, it'd be this is Kevin variant. And then this would be rendered. Now, the magic behind the scenes works like this. If this variable has not been defined or it's false, then this file will render empty. It will be rendered empty. And then the create block package then filters all of the template files and plugin files and only writes the ones to the file system that aren't empty. So that's how we can do all these different sort of like variations, right? And if you look at something like save, you can see, not save, that's not the right, well, it's the same idea. So we have its static variant, so this will only be rendered if this is a static variant. But if you look at something like index, you can see we've got some conditionals in here, right? So if this is static, we're going to import the save. If this is static, we're going to add the save function in. So does that all make sense? It's a little bit in the weeds, but it's you can see how powerful it gets, right? Because you can do as many variants as you want and just put whatever files you want, and it'll only get rendered if that variant is what is being done, right? Kevin, does that answer your question? Are we on the 15-second delay again? I'm gonna take your silence as a yes. Cool. So then we've got these things, right? Okay. Oh, it's 5 seconds delay. Okay, so let me pump the brakes then. I know this isn't really a talk per se, but because if you're a bit lost, and I'm sure others are, so what's the part that's that's tripping you up? Because I think I need to explain this better. How would a end up user with? Oh, so you would do this. You would say -- variant, and you would say Kevin, right? That's how they would use it. Does that make sense? Yeah. So they pass it in here. And like there's some checking too. Like if I run this, I'm gonna get an error that says, "Whoa, there's no valid. Kevin's not a valid variant," and I would agree. But then it tells you what the actual available variants are for the template that's being used. So it's not just like, it doesn't just kind of like, Anyways, so yeah, so that's my bot keeps saying the same thing over and over again. But anyhow, cool. So where were we? Okay, so we had a static one. Do the variant conditionals exist in a single instance of a file? Do the variant conditionals exist? I'm not sure I understand the question. You can have mixed ones in or template of a file or template. Yeah, so we're doing some magic to generate the name. Not magic, we're just concatenating a bunch of crap together. But basically, every variant has a variable that looks like this, right? So whatever the name of the variant is, as defined in your variants list. So for example, static, right? It will create a variable that is name of variant, right? And so if we in our case, we'll have stuff that is each variant will generate TypeScript WASM variant. Yes. Can the user combine variants? Like if they want TypeScript and WASM support? Not currently, but you could do a variant that supports that. You understand? So we're kind of putting the onus on the template authors to create the combinations that they want. I mean, there are some limitations, because as soon as you start talking about variants in the sense, is there any on the documentation comment we can have variant lists? I need TypeScript, WASM, and then so you need TypeScript, WASM, then TS and WASM. Yeah, that's how it would currently work. I mean, there is some discussion. Like Greg and I were talking about this, and the concept of static block versus dynamic block is almost kind of separate from the idea of like, because you might need a TypeScript-based static block or a TypeScript-based dynamic block, right? So should those things be almost separate? We have like a variant and then you have a type, right? So you have a static block as a type and then a variant of TypeScript. I mean, we can accommodate all of those now by doing what we're talking about here. So yeah, Nerhar has a question. Let me just throw it up there so everyone can see it. Is there any auto documentation possible that like we can have with WP Select and WP Help? So the user types variant list and it describes itself. Oh. Yeah, features. Nerhar, no. You can get the list. That's a really, really good suggestion, actually. That's a really good suggestion. You can't, but what you can is pass a variant that doesn't exist, like here. Like in this one, we're passing this Kevin variant, which doesn't exist in this particular, because the template, the default template doesn't include a variant called that, and it will tell you that. That's a really good follow-up idea, though, to be able to write like npx create block, and then you could do something like template, and then whatever name of template, and then like list variants or something, right? You could do that. That'd be super cool. You can't do it, but that would be a great little addition. I would love to see that. So kudos, great idea. But currently, no. Currently, you can just type help. You can just do like npx. What I need to show you because I did it up here somewhere. I did a help command somewhere. Yeah. So you can just do that, right? You type that's just help and it gives you all the standard help stuff. Yes. To allow easy scaffolding with remote templates. Yes. To allow easy scaffolding with remote templates. What do you mean? So you know what variants are allowed. I'd argue that like if other providers give templates, yeah. So I mean, I think it's probably going to be a good idea. So for example, I have this one that's called. This is old, but like in here in the README, it would almost make sense to like if you're going to provide one of these right here, because you're going to go find this somewhere, tell you what the names of them are, but it would be very, very awesome just to run like an exploratory command to understand what variants are available sort of before you run it. Yeah, but that's it's a great suggestion. So cool. So Kevin, does that sort of make sense? Sorry, Kevin was talking about doing something like this, static, where the variant is static and then your features. I think that's a cool idea. The infrastructure is not there to really handle that at the moment. We're leaning pretty heavily on the way that I think that's a cool idea. I am a little bit like I'm paling thinking about the possible iterations and combinations there, right? What would be the difference, right? I guess you could just create more. You could create more mustache variables, I guess. So it'd be like is feature TS, is feature WASM, or whatever. And then inside your file, just render what you need to render based on that. I mean, yeah, it's an interesting idea. As it stands now, we don't have that. But that's a cool thing. So anyways, let's get back to what we were doing here. So we're gonna have a dynamic, right? And then we're gonna have a third one, and we'll call this maybe descript, right? So let's see what we can override here. So our default values. So let's look in the default values thing. Is this it? Nope. Where am I? What am I doing here? Oh, it's in here. Yeah. So default values. So attributes, block attributes. Oh, I wonder if does it even support it? Interesting. So if we did view script, let's do something like, I don't really know what this is going to do actually now that I think about it. And we're just going to do whatever. We'll do like file. Yeah, sure. So the idea there, okay. let's look at in here. Nope. Let's look in here. Just want to see what the template actually defines. Template defines a bunch of stuff. So those are default values. I wonder if it even supports ViewScript at this point. If it doesn't, it absolutely has to. Okay, so we need to put some files in here now. So I'm just gonna go ahead and steal some of these files from another project that I have. Do I have a project that I can steal that from? Probably. Let me just. All right. I'm just gonna. I'm not gonna worry about the plugin templates. What I am gonna worry about is the block template. So I'm just gonna take this stuff. I'm gonna grab all this. I'm gonna drop it into the block templates. Right. And then what we need to do is it's whatever that I don't think it actually needs block.json. Delete. And you know what? I can steal it from. I'll show you where I can steal it from. Create block package. Load when scene. When scene. What? Sorry, Beanie, I'm not following. What are you talking about? What you talking about, man? So we're going to lib, we'll go into the templates, we'll go into the block. You see all these things are this, right? So you're looking for project to steal from, right? Oh, I see. Yeah. I just want to copy past this, some of this stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab a raw for this and put this in here. And what did I do? What was that? That was the index. So index, gonna do that, gonna do this, drop that in there, and I'm gonna say .mustache, right? .mustache, right? So that's interesting. Did it get moved? Get out of here. Oh, why is that doing that? Oh, hold on. I've got an extension, I think, that is doing, what am I doing? No, I need to go in here. Stupid thing. Where the heck is that? Did I put it in here? No. Where did I? Oh, this is dumb. Okay. Oh, not that one. Can't remember where I did this. Hold on. Maybe some. Oh, maybe some folder. Yeah, this needs to go away. We're gonna false that because I think that's what's killing me here. For some reason, sorry, I had a thing, so it was moving the imports. I didn't want that. Okay, cool. So we have these things, and what is index.js a mustache? Okay. I'm just gonna go through. Oh, come on, where did that go? Anyways, so we'll go into edit. Gonna raw that. All right, so edit. Nope. So you see we've got, actually that doesn't do anything. Oh yeah, so title, text, domain, that kind of fun stuff. I'm gonna delete some of this because I don't want to mess around with this stuff too much. Important part is probably, sorry, I should have had this all set up before I started spouting off about how cool it is. So this is kind of like a lot of the busy work, right? Is just getting in here and creating these templates, right? .mustache. If I can spell it right. Am I spelling that wrong? There we go, mustache. Okay. All right. So that is that. So we've got block templates. Vue.js. Okay. So let's go. Let's test this out. Okay. So that should be all we need. So if I'm in the source directory here now. Oh. Thanks, Beanie. Sorry, I didn't know what you were talking about, but that's cool. So we're gonna say npx this, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to need to pass the template. So you say t -t equals, and then it's source, so I can come out of directory, and I'll say block directory or block template, and then let's pass. So we want it to be no plugin, right? Because we don't want to do a plugin, and we're going to not block 3. Yeah, sure. Let's call it block 3. We don't have any blocks in there called block 3, do we? Let's look. And here we got. Okay, so we'll do that, and then pass the variant. Actually, I'm not going to pass the variant because if you don't pass the variant, you should get the first defined variant, which will be a static block. So let's see what happens. Did it work? Okay. That's weird. Oh, wait a minute. What just happened there? What? Okay. Interesting. Okay, let's do this in here then. Oh, no. Oh, man. My world is falling apart here. Sorry. Where am I? I need that. Copy path. Copy path. Zoom in. All right. Let's go. NPX. Okay. So why? Oh, -- template. Okay. Is this going to work? Okay, so we have a block. So you should have used the template. Now, based on the template stuff that we've created, we should have block scaffolding as the title, and we should have Twitter as the dash icon. So come in here and block 3. We should have block. Yeah, Twitter is the dash icon because I gave it a title, so that's fine. So now we have. Why did that do that? Let's look. So static. This is dynamic variant. Did I pass a variant? I did not pass a variant. All right. Well, let's figure out why. Oh, I'm also realizing that I'm missing the save, so I need that. JS.mustache. I'll grab that again from up here. Just gonna plunk it in there. I don't know why that's coloring the way it's coloring. Okay. Okay, so why? So let's pass a variant this time and see what happens. We'll go variant is test. Should not be a variant. Okay, so this is right. Variable has a static, dynamic, and view script. So let's type dynamic. And then, so we should have block 3. Block 3, dynamic. That looks correct. Let's delete this, delete. And then we'll run it without the dynamic variant. I don't know why it's the static looked like it just threw all the files in there, which is strange. Block 3. Yeah. Why is that in there? That shouldn't be there. That's there, which it wasn't before. Is he just spitting everything out? What the deuce is going on? Okay. Well, now let's see what happens if we try the variant that we were trying to do. So we go variant. I'm just going to call it static. You don't have a default variant. Well, yeah, I should have a default variant. The variant, wait, yeah, that's the default variant right there. So the first one gets used, right? Or should get used. So I'm gonna delete this. Now this is like the first time I've really put this through its paces like in the wild. So we're gonna see if maybe we've discovered something, or if maybe my template is a bit janky. So this is just spitting everything out. Interesting. Okay. Well, let's see what happens when we do the what is it? View script. Okay, so that gets. All right, well, let's get back to it here. I'm going to add this, but I'm gonna make it like obviously wrong. Test editor script. So hopefully when I run that thing again, it should override those default values. Don't you need one of those? Don't you need one of those? Yep. What, the editor script? Yeah, we do. I'm just okay. So that is definitely working. I don't think this thing supports view scripts yet. So that's definitely a bug that we need to address. A bummer. But why is this spitting everything out? Did I just not save it? Is that all it is? Did I just not save this because I'm a dope? Let's see. So you know, come to think of it, this variant shouldn't spit out, should spit out almost nothing, and it does. Okay. Okay, that's correct. Okay, so yeah. Don't I need one of what? An editor script? Yes, you absolutely need an editor script. I was just wanting to test it. So this is working now. This is definitely working because I just passed. So, interesting. So what you'll have to do with these kind of like variations of variations is because you didn't pass that, because I didn't pass dynamic as the variant. I'm gonna have to also gonna have to do something like this and then go it should be view script is view script variant, and because this didn't get spit out, right? So let's run that again. It should work, and we should now have a oh, no, it's not. Sorry, it's not capital. It's not camel case because I didn't set it as camel case. It should just be uppercase. Let's run that again. So, and oops, a doodle. Now we got that. Okay. So, yeah, so I can actually go back to my variant now and, sorry, I gotta get my template crap out of here, and I can put this back because that should be there, right? So this is clearly not something that is supported right yet, so we need to get that supported. So let's look back here at create block. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit, and then we go into the lib, we go into the is it init block? Yeah, we need to be able to add that in there. Editor style, editor script. So this is where we would need to add that. That gets where does the init block JSON get called? It should be get called in the scaffold, I believe, and it'll be in the defaults. Yeah. So okay, so there's some default. Anyways, so that's clearly something that it just doesn't support right now, even if you wanted it to. Yeah. So we should add that in. We should add a way to be able to have variants add to the defaults, I guess, right? Do I have defaults here? Show me scaffolds. Right, the variant vars override that. But why? Okay, so variant vars override, so it should add to it. So why in this init block, in the init block, that's not it. View. It's in the view. That's the view. So what am I doing? Init package JSON. That's the name of the function. Where is that thing? Ugh. Init package JSON is in init package JSON. Does the reason it's not supported have anything to do with it has to be manually queued? No. No. This is just not writing it. It has nothing to do with the inner workings of all that. I believe it has to do with something along these lines. Yeah. So here we go. Yeah. So script. So this is description author. Oh wait, this is package JSON. That's not what I want. Not package JSON. I'm sorry. Init block JSON. That's where I want it. So this is. So you can see right here, it's just pulling out these things that it knows about. So we need to be able to introduce those, and that's writing the file to file. It's getting these objects, all of these things. So if we were to just add view script in there, it'll work. So that's a pretty, so if anyone wants to go ahead and do that here, I'll even drop the line in there, paste. It's a good pull request option there. We basically just need to be able to get editor style out of wherever we're getting it from. So you have to add it in a few places, but yeah. So that's a bummer. Okay, so that's definitely a thing that we need to address. But does anyone have any questions about the templating stuff? Because it's pretty powerful. You can do a lot of really, really cool things in there. You can have, like if we had templates, like in our template here, you could do, in here, you could have things like if you wanted to have a, I don't know, like a TypeScript config or custom web pack, whatever, right? Like whatever you wanted to do. Like, okay. Yeah. Actually, you know what would be a really cool use case of this? What if we had something that wasn't a block? What if we used this to scaffold out, like, I don't know, oh, here's an idea. Oh, I have an idea. We're going to call it plugin, right? And it's going to be a variant. So I do this all. Can block template files exist within folders within block templates? Good question. Let's find out. It has to be .js.mustache. It has to be a mustache file, right? So I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll see. Now there's also the assets thing, right? So if you need templating files, let's run this. Let's run this and see what happens, right? So it might just scan it and find that template. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, but it didn't put anything in there. Wait, block templates. Oh, it's because it's empty. It's because it's empty. .log. Did I just, what is going on? I just quit. Yeah, I just quit. We're done. We're done. We're not doing this anymore. Console, whatever. Alert loaded. It's just what everyone probably thinks I am whenever I'm here. All right, so if you run this, it should be scanning for .mustache files and then adding them in accordingly. So in here, so you can absolutely do that. So if you wanted to have nested things, you can do that. Now keep in mind though, one really cool way of organizing your stuff could be having like a TS folder with all your TS stuff, Tailwind folder with all with all that stuff, tests and all that stuff. But if your files inside of it render empty, the files won't render, but the folders will still be copied over. So to my knowledge, there's not a way of conditionally doing that. But that's a great question and interesting solution. Now, if you want to have a folder that just gets copied over straight up, like an assets folder, we can do that. You can do something like assets, and then like, I don't know, whatever. You want to put an image in here. Let's see what I got. Oh, my new pool. Let's put an image in there. It's a massive image, but we're gonna put it in there, right? So, what's this? I'm gonna use that instead. Variance.png. Okay, so then in our template, I believe we can define an assets path. So we just do this. Just add this. We can do that. We can just go. I'm just gonna call it assets. Right. So this should just copy everything. I'm gonna go ahead and delete this block 3 thing. Delete. This should copy everything out of the assets, regardless of what's in there, and just plunk it in there. So let's call it. Where is my stupid thing? Did I do that again? No, it's right there. Okay. Clear. So again, I don't know if you can read that or not. Sorry, it's very. Might need to get a different setup here. It's pretty hard to read. So that should just get run in here, source, block 3. So now we've got assets in there. So you can put fonts and stuff in there, whatever it is you need, right? And then our test is in there as well. So yeah, we can do all that. What was the, oh, right. So this, I was thinking about this thing. So let's do something like this. So let's say we have all this goodness, right? So this is a plugin. We're using register plugin to generate a slot, right? So we want to put something. What is this doing? This is pulling out some post meta, whatever. Can be whatever you want it to be. But so you could then do something in plugin or block templates. You can go new file. Let's call this plugin.js, right? And then drop that in there, and then mustache. This might be a bit of a stretch, but this would be a fun thing to do. So if you had like a plugin version of this, right, that just generated some scaffolded files for you. I don't know why it's not doing that, but anyhow, then you could add the right. You go. What is it? Is plugin variant? Is plugin what? What is that? All right. Okay, I don't know why it's doing this. This is so dumb. Hold on. I'm gonna delete you because you're dumb. Delete. Yeah. And I go, where am I? Block templates. I'm gonna go too far. I'm gonna go plugin js.mustache. If I dropped it in there, that's better. Okay. And then all I need to do is take like one of these variants, right? So you can do like, I'm thinking you can do some really sort of out of the box stuff here, right? And this is plugin variant. All right, and then I think it's that. Well, I'll tell you in a second. No, not that. Get out of here. Edit. No. Index. Yeah. And then and then like something like edit, you could go. There's a negation way of doing it. It's like what is it? Anyways, it's a bit complicated, but you'd be like, is that it? I can't remember what it is. Conditional mustache. What what is it? It's if statement and mustache template. So, where's the, oh, that, okay, so it's tilde. Okay, so we go, so then what we can do is we can say if it's not, no, sorry, it's not, where's tilde? What am I doing here? The caret, I mean, this is plugin variant, right? If it's not that, we can write it, because we basically going to need this for every single thing except for this for the plugin, right? Come on. So we'll just do that. So let's test this out. This is interesting to me. One thing it is going to do is going to generate a block.js for you, or block.json for you. So it may not be the best way of doing it, but maybe there's even a way of suppressing that. So I put this in the source. Block 3. Oh, see, yeah, we have to go in and do all this stuff. But now I've got this plugin thing, and I've got edit. Oh wait, I'm gonna delete this. Sorry, one sec. We'll run it again so it's clean. All right, so in block 3, so we've got index, because I didn't add the thing, the assets, the test, all that stuff. So you need to be, yeah, I don't know, maybe it's not the best solution, but maybe there is a template that is based entirely on creating slots. Because why not? Anyways, so it will work. So like if we look in here, we now have all this stuff, and then we just have to like enqueue it and do all that, but we can add that file in too. So you just need to include the file so it gets enqueued properly. It's an interesting use case. Yeah. So that's a thing. I'm gonna let you all go and stop rambling, but you guys and gals have a great weekend, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Later. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please give it a like, and be sure to subscribe to my channel for more content about Gutenberg and WordPress development.